Yes, people, how's it going? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're doing good, hope you're keeping safe and well, and hope you're having a fantastic and a smashing Monday. Look, positive vibes at the minute, positive feeling around the entire fan base after a fantastic victory on Saturday evening, after everything that the squad has been through in the past week. To go out there and put in a performance with that sort of fight, with that sort of resilience, it was much better. It was much better. I thought we defended very well in that game. And look, now all focus has to be on Wednesday's game. Huge game at home against Frankfurt. Could decide whether we play probably Champions League football or Europa League football for the rest of the season. You know, it's a huge game. Our biggest so far this season in terms of actually meaning something in a table. But look, we're not going to be talking about results. We're not going to be talking about the Frankfurt game. We're not going to be talking about the game on the weekend against Everton. We're going to be talking about some off-the-pitch stuff. Now, Tottenham Hotspur appointed Todd Klein a couple of years ago to land naming rights for the stadium. So far, he's yet to do that. But we're hearing today that talks are progressing and it is looking more and more likely by the minute that the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium could have a sponsor, that Tottenham Hotspur Stadium could have a name. And it is looking like that sponsorship, it is looking like that name is going to be Google. Now, I have a few opinions on this, right? There's positives and negatives. The first thing is a negative. Let's be honest, the Google Stadium, the Tottenham Hotspur Google Stadium or the Google Arena, it sounds absolutely shit, right? I'm not going to make no bones about it. It's an awful name. It's an absolutely horrific name, and it's just not nice to hear. I mean, some sponsorships like Amex, it works at Brighton, the Emirates, works at Arsenal, the Google Stadium. It just sounds a bit silly. I understand Google is the most used thing in the world, but the Google Stadium, it just sounds a bit strange, right? That is the big negative. Have the whole world probably laugh a little bit when they see that our name is the Google Stadium or whatever, and it does take away a little bit from the history. I understand that a lot of people will be very affected. I mean, it frustrates me a little bit, but especially people who have seen White Hart Lane for so long and have even called this stadium White Hart, bloody hell, have even called this stadium White Hart Lane, and now just the Google Stadium, and sort of everyone referring to it as the brand new Google Stadium. It does sound stupid, but with every cloud, there is a positive, and there are some massive perks and positives. Although we may have a bit of a silly name, the amount of money and revenue we'll receive from a company such as Google, it's arguably the biggest company, the most used company in the world. I can't think of a person in my life who hasn't used Google for one reason or another. I use it about 5-10 times a day. Most people use it, 20, 50 times a day. The whole world, different countries, continents, uses this platform. And for it to sponsor us, how big this platform is, and to have their name, banded around and Google getting revenue for it, I think the revenue and profit we'll get off this deal will be major. I think if we can actually land the naming rights and, for it to be sponsored by Google, for our stadium to be sponsored by Google, we'll receive much more, I think, than anyone else in the Premier League, not just from matchday revenue from our stadium, but in general from the actual naming rights. This brand new spanking, arguably the most popular, one of the most popular stadiums in the world already. It's a very new stadium, sponsored by arguably the biggest company in the world. It is huge. It is absolutely huge, and like I say, it does sound silly, but I think we'll be making much more than the Etihad, much more than the Emirates. I understand these are big companies such as Amex, such as Emirates, such as Etihad, such as, these sort of vitality even for a bit of a smaller club such as Bournemouth. I'm trying to think, but clubs that don't have a sponsorship, for example, Old Trafford, Anfield, Chelsea, I understand that, but like a few clubs which don't have these or have these big sponsorship deals. But you look at those sponsorship deals, Amex, Vitality, Emirates, Etihad, they're big sponsorships. But Google is 1,000 times bigger than every single one of them. Like I say, I don't know one person who hasn't heard of Google. I don't know one person who hasn't used Google. I'm using Google right now and will do to upload this video. So the amount of revenue and profit we should be receiving, hopefully 30 to 40 million roughly, into our transfer budget. Now, we understand Daniel Levy. We know... Yeah, look, my opinion on Daniel Levy, I think he's done a great job financially for the club. I really do. I think he's put us in a great position financially, but the huge issue with Levy is that sometimes he doesn't invest money when he should. He needs to be a little bit more brave. And the question is, if we're getting all this revenue and receiving all this money off landing these new naming rights for the stadium, will it all be going into the transfer budget, or will we be told we're spending 10, 15 million in a transfer budget and Levy's got arguably 50 million in his pocket? But look, I'm sure money and revenue we'll receive will come out in the coming days. It's not a done deal yet, but it is looking very, very likely now that it could be the Google Stadium. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. A little bit of a different one. Look, huge week for Spurs. Frankfurt on Wednesday, Everton on Saturday. Everton losing last night, but Everton, good form. Hard to break down defensively. Frankfurt, needing the points in their Champions League group. It should be very, very interesting, and I am looking forward to those two games, and hopefully the boys can continue this good run of form. Thank you for watching this video.